We think about what does it mean to live a beautiful life, and I think something most of us want to. The question is, how do you get rid of those traits, characteristics, and sin patterns that are self-destructive, that hurt other people, and dishonor God? And then how do you put on those traits and characteristics that are beautiful, those things that adorn your life, that bless other people, and that honor God? Well, some people will say, well, it tells us right here in Galatians chapter 5, you don't do the things that Paul lists in verses 19 and 20. Just stop it. Don't do sexual immorality, jealousy, anger. Don't do those things, and instead start doing what he says in verses 22 and 23. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, self-control, so on. So just don't do that. Do these things, and life is good. Let's pray. It's not that simple, is it? It's not that simple. In fact, to say that is actually a bit frustrating, and it reminds me of, if someone were to ask LeBron James how to dunk a basketball. If you've ever seen LeBron James dunking a basketball, I think we have actually a picture here of LeBron dunking a basketball. And so if you ask LeBron James, how do you dunk a basketball? And LeBron would say something like this. He might say, well, first what you do is you run really fast, dribbling the ball, and when you get to about the free throw line, you jump. And you jump as high as you can, and while you're in the air, you have that ball, and he has it in his right hand, of course. You have that ball, and you're firmly gripped in your right hand, and when you get above the rim, you throw it down as hard as you can. And that's how you dunk a basketball. And you're going, I now know how to dunk a basketball. Now, that's not all that helpful, is it? I mean, everything he says there is true. It's true, but he doesn't tell you how you can dunk a basketball. And it's actually, for us, when we read these things that Paul lists, I just feel like a short, middle-aged, unathletic guy being told how to dunk a basketball. It doesn't really help me. It doesn't work. Except when I read Paul's list, it actually is worse. Because I don't feel ashamed of the fact that I can't dunk a basketball. I don't have that expectation. Yet when I read Paul's list of things that I should not do and I should do, shouldn't I be able to do these things? Is it really that hard? You ought not to lust. This is not a crazy, unreasonable list. It's not like he's setting the expectations at some unreasonable level. You should not lust. You should not lose your temper. You should be gentle and kind. It seems like we should be able to do those things, and yet we don't. And it's not that we have a knowledge problem. It's not like, just read the law and do it. I know the law. It's not like you read through this and says, no fits of anger. And I go, oh my goodness, I had no idea that was wrong. This is not shocking to me. I already knew all this. So just telling me what to do is not going to help. In fact, it ends up causing greater frustration. I know it. You know it. You know it. Anybody here didn't know you weren't supposed to envy? Is this newsflash? Anybody knew that you weren't supposed to be engaging in sensuality? Is this new information? We know this stuff. We do not have a knowledge problem. We have a power problem. And that's what Paul is showing us in this passage. In Galatians 5, he points out that we have a power problem. We know what to do, and we even want to do, because if you're a Christian, you have a new heart that wants to do the right thing. He says you can't even do what you want to do because we lack the power. But here Paul reveals the open secret of how we find the power to live a beautiful life. Now, in this passage,